Hey there, Anthony here, half of the dev team at Steel. Right now I'm doing a playtest. It's only going to be a couple minutes really. It's a small first-person game by Justin Harris. It is for a class assignment. It was made in the Unreal Engine, so I'm going to be doing it. I normally don't do this, but I already did one playthrough, and the recording was really too choppy to be useful to Justin. So what I'm going to do is do another one. The playthroughs are so quick that I've actually had time to kind of absorb what was happening, and I have a lot of I think constructive feedback to add while I'm playing it. But I'm also going to be showing some things while I'm playing through it as well. I already completed the questionnaire at the end, the survey that was required. I completed that and sent it in, but I'll go over it again also afterward. So I wanted to do this because these playthroughs are just super helpful. Myself as a developer, it's just myself and my brother. We both work on games, both 2D and 3D. We've made games for mobile. We made games for Unity. We made a game for Unreal, at least on those platforms. But it's just infinitely better to get actual hands-on feedback, watching somebody play and hearing them talk. If and when they do talk, and just seeing where they get stuck, things like that. So it's just a lot easier. So I'm going to be going over that as I play. So here we go. This is Justin Harris's Purgatory. Good. Everything seems to be up to date. 24. Okay, good. Alright, so Justin Harris experience. I don't want to quit out, but I did see this. So clearance. So the music's fine. I love the music actually. It reminds me of like The Last of Us or like Dying Light a little bit in a weird way. It reminds me of, for some reason, Brokeback Mountain. I don't know why, but it reminds me of that. It's really good though. It's like it's soothing and calm, but there's a tension there that I really like. Now here's the thing though. If I click main menu, I don't know why it would do that. So try to make it so this whole menu is a seamless experience. Click on controls. I look at the controls. It's WASD. I turn with the mouse. I jump with space. I pick something up with F, which is interesting, and I fire the splinter with left click. So I get why you did this, but I'll go over it while I'm actually playing. Main menu, it'll skip again. It'll reset again. So it's just a little strange there. Start game. Very cool. So I come in here, and I had no idea what was going on, but I get it. So I see the timer, right? I think once I start moving, there we go. Then it tells me what's happening, which is fine. What you should probably do is have it so the timer doesn't start until this thing appears. Okay, until this little thing appears. I like this. This gives you a little bit of like intrinsic narrative, explicit narrative. So that's really good. There's just been an earthquake and the building is on fire. I have 8 minutes until I die of smoke inhalation. I was working late at my office in Scion Labs when the tremor began. You were testing the company's latest experimental prototype, the Sonic Splinter. This device releases a sound wave capable of destroying solid materials, but it needs a battery. The yellow brick in front of you will do. Press space to jump. Now, what you should do is take out the OK, and instead maybe just have it say space bar or something. So it says space to jump, I immediately want to press space and get rid of this screen. Like I want to do what it tells me to do, rather than have to go down with my mouse and click OK. So that's just a little bit of feedback. That was what I was thinking the first time through as well. Alright, now the timer should start at 8. You said something about, in your survey, you said something about red lights. I didn't notice a single red light on my first playthrough, so definitely double check that. This is weird to reach. So I came up here originally, and even right now I want to click on it. I'm trying to do everything, but nothing's happening. Like, I want to click on this thing, but I can't. So I'll jump, and I haven't touched it yet. So here's where it literally tells me I picked up a battery. The splinter is now charged, indicated by a lightning bolt in the lower right corner. Aim the splinter toward the floor and left click to reach the lower level. I can check my location within the building by looking at the floor number on the wall above the elevator doors on each level. Interesting, kind of difficult to see because the levels are so large and weird. I'll show you what I mean. But so I see this, so I want to click OK. And so it told me I picked it up, but I didn't actually pick it up. So that was jarring at first because I was looking down looking for the thing, but it actually wasn't there. I still have to move forward to pick it up. So that needs fixed. What I would suggest is getting rid of this thing entirely, so don't make me have to jump, or maybe not jump so high, because the platform for this is like at the very apex of my jump, so it's a little tough to actually reach. I mean, it's not sticky. It's not very elegant here, and for some reason that just launched me. So maybe just take that out, or make it closer to the bottom of the floor or inside the floor, so I can just run over and pick it up and then get that prompt. Just make it a little bit more accessible. Alright, so I picked it up. Now I'm going to hit this. That's such a cool mechanic. And now I'm looking for the red lights. So now I see the red light above that window. Blue objects can be picked up and dropped with the F key. After destroying a floor, the splinter needs a new battery. Find one on each new floor. Reach the bottom level to survive. Not every blue object hides a battery. Okay. So now I see those red lights. So there's definitely fog. You definitely have fog in here, but it doesn't really feel like smoke. The survey also asked about if there's too much smoke, but it doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't feel like smoke to me. I don't know why. Maybe actually bring in a particle system with smoke particle textures, maybe, and fill the rooms with those, something like that. But it doesn't really feel like smoke to me. Another thing that I think, on my first playthrough I felt it, and I wanted to focus on it more in this one too, but the F key, so it does this too. There's a bug here. If I grab something, I don't even know if I'm standing on it or if I'm standing on something else, but check that bug, because I can fling myself in the air very, very high, and I shouldn't be able to do that. But using the F key is kind of weird. It feels inelegant. Like, if I'm just grabbing stuff and tossing it to the side, I kind of feel like I just want to be like holding in left click, almost like I'm dragging and dropping stuff. That might be a little more interesting. There we go. Let me grab that and go down. Something else with the level design is, I'm not going to say anything about the art assets. You're using placeholder art assets, so that's fine. You're just getting stuff across, which is perfectly fine. But the idea of something like a visual language that gives me some semblance of a narrative structure in any given level, so I can see like landmarks, right? So maybe have like a table. So you have cool. There's a whole level. Wait, did I fall properly? Wait, did I just bug out? I'm not sure if I bugged out or not. Did I actually fall? I'm not sure if I did. I don't know if I fell to the next floor or not. I mean, I know I should have, but I don't know. I don't feel like I did. Yeah, so you have a floor that's completely covered in one identical object, like those long beams, and they're all identical. So I can't really tell where I am on the level itself. Yeah, I think that, nice, there we go. Let's go down. And then this one has all tables, right? Well, all tables, and then, yeah, but it looks like all tables. So it's like the landmarks aren't really existent. Like, landmarks meaning, you're walking through a forest and you come upon a tree, and, you get turned around and you come upon that same tree. It's like next to like a tree stump or something. Just like landmarks that let me know, like you can use that as intrinsic memory. Come on. Ugh. The F key is, like I said, the F key is a little weird to use. There we go. But I know that I know you're using the left click to do the charge, because that's normally what you use, like to do like a gun. But I'm using it so infrequently that it feels a little bit like it's forced, like it's just something that we've done for 2 decades, like left click to shoot, but I shoot only once a level, whereas there we go. Whereas I'm holding an F constantly to move this stuff, and it feels a little it just feels a little like brutish. It feels like maybe you can even swap those. So like holding left click to drag and drop, like drag and throw the stuff around, and then maybe press F to fire or something, or you know what I mean, or or maybe even right click, like right click shoots the splinter at the ground, something like that. But I just wanted to have a little bit more fidelity with my control. The F was a little weird. The last level there took me a while to realize that I was on the bottom floor. So I'm so busy looking at the floor for the blue boxes that I never really look up and see that there are actually elevators. Like when I first read it in the box the first time that I ran through, I kind of just forgot it immediately because I didn't realize that I was like 3 floors down and I realized, oh, there's elevators there with floor numbers. So it was just a little weird. Like I literally got to the bottom floor and I'm moving stuff, and then I eventually run out of stuff to move. I'm not finding a battery, and then I run to like that big bright door, and then it gives me my use survive screen. I'm like, oh, that I was on the last floor. I didn't realize. So maybe just take everything out of that bottom floor to like it's almost tricking me. I know it's not trying to trick me, but it's like I'm looking around and I see the blue boxes. Like I'm so trained in that rule set by that point that I'm just going to blue boxes looking for batteries. So maybe just take all that stuff out and just funnel the player directly to the open door. That would be my suggestion. The mechanic is very fun, very very intriguing, very simple, right? So you're basically turning the idea of like destructive environments on its head. It's fun to like search, to like look for something. It's really an intriguing mechanic. It's really cool. I had the idea of, I think I put this on a survey, but I was thinking for some kind of additional, like if you're thinking about like extrapolating this or extruding the idea, I was thinking about, imagine the narrative is you are a futuristic firefighter and you have this weaponry, let's say. You have this tool, and you get helicoptered onto the top of like a skyscraper or like a huge tower or some kind of massive building or structure, and you have to rescue survivors like all the way down in the tower, or there's something that you have to like shut off that's at the very base of it that threatens the entire structure, and you land on the top and you have to work your way all the way down, maybe avoiding fires, avoiding falling debris and things like that, just to survive all of your way down to then deactivate whatever needs to be deactivated, something like that. But you can really easily extrude this and create something very interesting if you work a lot harder on your level design. But it's very interesting. I really like it. The mechanic itself doesn't really add a lot to improving upon the complexity of the mechanic itself. So the mechanic is just, you get this thing and you can destroy the floor with it, right? So that's it. Which means that the challenge is going to have to come from usually timed events, how fast you can do that, avoiding pitfalls and traps and taking damage, things like that. So you would add like a damage bar. Something like that. That would be all of that. Something else I thought would be interesting to add would be a mechanic, would be some kind of like a bull rush. So it's like maybe if I press shift, or maybe that's the maybe that's the right click on the mouse actually, but like something that is on like a cooldown timer, but I can use it almost like it's like a stamina bar, and I click it and I do like a bull rush, like my character, like I run forward and I like just run into whatever it is in front of me and I stop. So it's like if I have like a pile of those blue boxes and I run forward and I hit it, like I use this bull rush, like it just knocks all those boxes out of the way and I can instantly see what's underneath those things, right? Because right now the main mechanic is like finding the battery and destroying the floor just to progress. But that's part of the critical path. But your main objective is to search around for those batteries, right? So all of your gameplay is within searching, figuring out ways to search for this thing, right? So you can add things like different weights, like you can have different sizes of objects, like giant blue boxes, and then you add like a bull rush or something like that to get this giant thing out of the way. You know what I mean? Maybe, or you can add something to the splinter beam or something, right? Where it has like an unpowered mechanic, like the left click, where you're able to shoot these things out of the way. Maybe you can shoot the boxes and move them out of the way. or you shoot small ones or something like that. And you know, this is getting to like a whole like game design territory, but the feedback is great. Nothing about the art assets, you're perfectly fine. It's all filler, it's all things like that. So that's pretty much that. I'm gonna go over your survey that you had, and I'm gonna answer them in real time for you. I already did answer them and send it in, but I'll answer it again. So my name, age, great gaming experience I have. It's gonna ask me. Ah, snap! I won't actually be able to do this, will I? Option 1. My age is 35. Gender is male. Great gaming experience, meaning I have a lot. I'm gonna go next. Observe behavior. Did any of the movable blocks disappear while you were moving them? No. What did happen was if I was too close to them, or if I was on top of one and I flung one, I could fling myself completely somewhere in the environment. I might have picked that up there too. What were your thoughts on the thickness of the smoke? Not thick enough, not thick enough, not thick enough. I didn't really, like I said, I knew it was fog, like from like an in-engine perspective, but it didn't really feel like smoke to me for some reason. It just felt like a thin layer of fog. The alarm sound was not annoying. Length of play, I played for maybe 6-7 hours or 6-7 minutes. Did I get stuck? No. Were the red lights helpful in locating the batteries? They were not helpful. Did the red lights make it too simple? No. I mean, like, I remember I went over to one, there was like a red light in a window, and I looked underneath it, and there was no battery, you know, so I didn't really, even my second time through, I was like kind of looking for them, but I quickly just forgot about them. Not the purpose of this test, observations. I put a whole bunch of observations. I'm not going to save this one for your sake. Like, I'm not going to complete this. But I did put a bunch of observations in the other one. Oh my god. Overall difficulty was like a 1. I'll say it was 2 due to the timer. Overall enjoyment was 4. It is enjoyable. It's enjoyable. It's very simple. You have very simple mechanics. You can really improve upon them and extrapolate some of the complexity of it. I would add another mechanic. You can it's all of the difficulty, all of the gameplay is in the environment. So the gameplay has nothing to do with you swapping weapons or swapping tools, nothing like that as it stands. It's all about how you build the environment, which means you need to focus on things like visual language, which means you have to add things to each individual floor that allows me as a player to realize, oh, I've already been here. Because in my first playthrough, had I not known that, I mean, this time I knew that, so it looked a lot smoother, but in my first playthrough I was going in rooms I had already been because I kept getting turned around, because like all the stuff's kind of identical. So it's not necessarily about the fidelity of the art assets, but it's about the shape of them. It's about the color of them. It's about things like that. You can do this whole thing with just nothing but shapes. You need shapes and color. You need no fidelity. You could have done this entire thing with gray boxes, no textures required. But something like this is so simple on the player's end that it needs to be heavy duty on your end to develop the level design. That's this in a nutshell. One thing I liked were these simple mechanics. What would you change? I'm not going to submit it, but I think I gave you all the feedback on. The things I would change would be just to constantly update, find a couple of issues, fix a couple of issues, and hopefully everything else I said was hopefully helpful. I'm going to go ahead and quit out so I can see what I'm doing. Hopefully I gave good feedback. Hopefully it's helpful for you for your class, and I wish you the best of luck. Keep pushing it, keep working on it, keep learning, and you're doing a great job. This is very, very impressive. I legitimately enjoy it. It's a genuine fun experience. It just needs a lot of polish and a lot of either mechanical complexity or level complexity. So have a good rest of your night, wherever you are, rest of your day, and I hope you do very well in your class. Alright, see ya.